Are you guys ready for the haul of all hauls? Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. I am very excited for today's video because I don't do book shopping vlogs and book hauls too often. I do try and limit myself to like 4 times a year, but today is a special day because I get to go book shopping, but specifically it's going to be my birthday book haul. So I will give everyone a warning now that this book haul is going to be completely unhinged. I am not holding myself back from buying anything today. I've been saving up a lot of points through my work where I could cash in for some gift cards. So Barnes & Noble is gonna hate to see me coming. I have no idea how many books I'm gonna leave with today, but I'm excited to see what we're able to find. Generally, when I go book shopping, I try not to have too much of a list in mind. I kind of just want to see where the bookstore takes me. But because I am a woman on a mission today, I even made a list for things that I'd like to check off if possible. So first on my list is I would like to pick up the rest of the series that follows Renegades by Marissa Meyer. So that would be Archenenemies and Supernova. From there, I have a YA fantasy, which I've heard some good things about recently from some fellow booktubers, and that would be Nightweaver by R.M. Gray. I think this is a pirate-inspired fantasy, and on the top of the blurb, it says, for fans of Adeline Grace's Belladonna and Lauren Roberts' Powerless, which I'm a big fan of both of those series, so I have a lot of high hopes about this book. Next is my probably most unoriginal book that I'd like to pick up. I really want to try and grab If It Makes You Happy by Olivia. I have seen everyone talk about this 90s rom-com Gilmore Girls inspired romance book recently, and I just want to hop on the bandwagon. Even though it is like a 500-page romance book, I've just heard that it's such a good slow burn romance and that it takes place over multiple months of the fall, so I'd like to try and read this as soon as possible. You'll see me talk about this book again, but recently I read A Tempest of Tea by Hafsah Faizal. That author also has another series which I've heard a lot less people talk about, and it starts with We Hunt the Flame. I really did enjoy this author's writing style, and I love this cover. So if I can find this, I would love to pick this up and support this author some more. Continuing on with the mindset of A Tempest of Tea, the sequel to this duology, A Steeping of Blood, just recently came out. If they have it in the paperback version, I'd like to pick it up. However, I'm not totally sure that it is available in paperback, so this might be one that I need to pick up later. And then finally, the little holiday novella that completes the Belladonna series recently came out, named Holly, and if that came out in paperback, I'd like to pick that up as well. So those are some books that are top of mind, but I know definitely I will be picking up more books than that. My TBR is my top 2 shelves up here, and my TBR is utterly depleted. I could hardly get through like 2 months of a TBR if we don't go book shopping today. So I'm excited to restock up these shelves, and I think this is honestly coming at a perfect time because I think I'm starting to get in a little bit of a book slump. And one of the quickest ways I found to get out of a book slump is to purchase new books to reignite that excitement with reading. I've got my Alani ready to go to get me through, so make sure that you go grab your fall drink or snack and let's go to the bookstore. Gonna be quick because I really don't want to bother anyone with my filming. Already mitigated one emergency. Realized that I got here without an SD card in my camera. So this is actually my second time at Barnes & Noble. We had a quick stop at Walmart as well. The good news is they have so many good books today. Bad news is because Hunter's not with me. I literally think my arm's gonna fall off carrying this. I've been able to find every single book on my list except Holly and the second book in the Tempest of Tea duology are both only out in hardcovers, so we're gonna have to wait on those. Are you guys ready for the haul of all hauls? I literally had to stop purchasing books because I couldn't physically carry them around any longer, and somehow I still didn't even use up all of the gift cards that I had saved over the last year. So we might be doing a little part 2 of a book haul here soon, but I have a lot of books to show you guys. I would say overall my romance section is what's a little bit more depleted right now, but I did basically buy all fantasy books because I am so in love with fantasy at the moment. So let's just start pulling out some books and seeing what I got. Here's one that I found towards the front of the store, which I genuinely never heard anything about, but I looked this up on Goodreads and I saw really good reviews, so I am intrigued. This is called Red City by Marie Lu. Some comp titles it has listed is The Godfather Meets the Magicians, and the sweeping adult debut from Marie Lu, a dark and deadly contemporary fantasy of magical warfare, star-crossed ambition, and the pursuit of perfection at any cost, set in a glittering alternate Los Angeles. So I do think that this is going to be an urban fantasy, which I honestly don't have a lot of experience with, but the premise of this book almost gave me Olivia Blake's One for My Enemy vibes, where it's warring family set in a fantastical version of a real city. But these two crime syndicate families dealing in the form of sand, which is a drug that enhances those who take it. Two childhood friends on either side disrupt the delicate balance. The daughter of a poor single mother, Sam, would do anything to claw her way into the ranks of Grand Central in search of a better life. Plucked away from his family as a boy to become a lumen's apprentice, Ari is one of the syndicate's brightest rising stars. Once the two might have loved each other, but as the two alchemists face off across opposite sides of an ever-escalating conflict, ambition will become power, loyalty will become lies, and no transformation may be perfect enough for them both to survive the coming war. This was just released in 2025, so I think this is going to be the start of a series with the star-crossed lovers element. That's why it was giving me Romeo and Juliet, One for My Enemy vibes. But the crime syndicate element, dealing in drugs, almost sounds like Jade City. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of intriguing elements to this book, and I'm very excited to pick this up. Next, I did find one of the books that I had mentioned to you guys, If It Makes You Happy by Julia Olivia. This is the 90s rom-com Gilmore Girl-esque book that I've heard a lot of people talk about. And I was actually shocked that it was on buy one, get one 50% off. So even more of an excuse for me to pick this one up. But the back says, get comfy with this cozy slow burn romance set in the autumnal glow of 1997 small town Vermont. And I mean, look at this freaking cover. This is one that I definitely want to pick up sooner rather than later. Hopefully I can get this on my November TBR. It looks like our FMC moves into this small town to take over running her mom's bed and breakfast. And her neighbor turns out to be the town's golden boy, where they slowly build a friendship, and I think that turns into a little bit more. I think this is going to be so heartwarming and cozy, and I have a lot of high hopes for this one. Because that was on buy one, get one 50% off, this is the other book that I got for that deal, and that is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandanna. This is another one that I'd love to get to in November, so I'm already getting really excited for my next TBR video. I previously read Sangu Mandanna's other book, which has the world's longest title, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Yes, I read that last year and loved it. Again, a very cozy, wholesome, witchy read. And I'm pretty sure this has a very similar premise of that it's going to be cozy, heartwarming, and a little bit witchy. This is one that I've had on my radar since the beginning of the year, and I do have it on my 2025 TBR. And this is a whimsical, heartwarming novel about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and her life back on track. Our FMC uses a lot of strong, powerful magic to bring her aunt back to life, and that large of a spell ends up actually draining a lot of her magical powers. And because you're not really supposed to be using your magic in that way, she gets excommunicated from the Witches Guild. But as her and her aunt are running an enchanted inn, she learns about an old spell that could hold the key to restoring her power. Enter our MMC Luke, who is a handsome and icy magical historian who arrives to the inn and just might know how to unlock the spell's secrets. Luke has absolutely no interest in getting involved with the inn and is definitely not about to let a certain bewitching innkeeper past his walls. So no one is more surprised than he is when he agrees to help Sarah with her spell. The descriptions I'm seeing of this on the back of the book is that this book is pure magic, warm, cozy, and gentle, welcomes the reader in with gentle charm and profound kindness, the comfort read of the year. I think this is going to be so heartwarming and cozy, and another top contender to pick up very, very soon. Continuing on with kind of those cozy vibes, I picked up The Lightkeeper's Bookshop by Sophie Austen. Now this is a book that I've heard absolutely no one talk about, but looking it up on Goodreads, it had almost a 4-star rating, so I wanted to give this a chance. I love the idea of reading books about books, which is why this originally caught my eye. In the shadowy aisles of the lamplighter's bookshop, secrets lie as thick as the dust. When Evelyn answers an advertisement for an assistant at the Forgotten Bookshop in York, she is not the only one with something to hide. There she meets the enigmatic and prickly William, an aspiring writer keeping secrets of his own. But when the walls that Evelyn has built around herself start to crumble, there's only one person she can turn to. As the layers are brushed away, can Evelyn and William find the courage to write the next chapter of their story? This definitely feels like more of a winter romance to me, which I feel like it was the perfect opportunity to pick up. And again, I like the opportunity to read a few books that I haven't heard anyone else talk about so that I can go into it with a clear head and not letting any other people's opinions get in the way of my experience. So I'm looking forward to reading this in the upcoming months. From there, I was able to find 2 more books that I originally had on my radar, and that is continuing on with the Renegades trilogy with Archenenemies and Supernova. I feel very lucky that I was able to find these because both of these were the last copy they had available. I will say they were a little bit beat up, but beggars can't be choosers. The series really took me by surprise, which is a YA sci-fi novel where we kind of have the battle of heroes and villains. Our FMC is actually part of the supervillains group named the Anarchist, who is undercover at the superheroes the Renegades headquarters. And that is where things become intertwined with our MMC Adrian, who is also keeping some secrets of his own. I felt like book 1 in the series was so fun, and it really did take me by surprise with a 4.5-star rating. I feel like the audiobooks for these are really good because it is an older series. They're also really easy to find on Libby or through your library. But I was absolutely blown away with where book 1 ended off, so I really wanted to pick up books 2 and 3 so I could finish out this trilogy quickly. The next book is a series that I have gone back and forth with so many times, and it's an author I love, but I know that this is not everyone's favorite series by this author. However, the Barnes & Noble exclusive books are just too stunning to pass up. So I got book 1 to hopefully take it easy on myself, see how I feel, and if I love it and need to buy books 2 and 3 later on, that'll be easy enough to do. And that would be the first book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. So this is Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. Like mentioned, I just think these covers are stunning, and book 2 in this series with the blue cover is incredible. I specifically have left this series as the last one to pick up by Sarah J. Maas because I know that book 3 had so many mixed opinions and overall pretty negative reviews. But I read ACOTAR last year, Throne of Glass this year, and I'm thinking Crescent City next year. But I won't tell a lie, this is damn intimidating to want to pick up. How long is this book? Oh, solid. Just a nice cozy 800 pages to read at my earliest convenience. I might take a little bit convincing to pick this one up, so if you have read the Crescent City series and you would recommend it, leave a comment down below and try and talk your girl into it, because I do have to say that these books are really intimidating. Another book that I mentioned having on my radar that I was able to find is Nightweaver by R.M. Gray. Just now realizing that I did get a copy with a rip on the cover, so that's super awesome of me. I will say that at least I was able to find the special edition, which has really pretty sprayed edges. It says, "I will not let them take me." And I'm curious if the hardcover has a cool design on it. The inside cover has what looks like to be a family tree. Ooh. And this is the naked hardcover, which looks really cool as well. The blurb says, "You say pirate like it's an insult. 600 years ago, nightweavers, cursed beings with unchecked power, claimed the continents for their own. The ocean was meant to be a safe haven for humanity, including 17-year-old Aster and her pirate family. But after Aster's brother is killed in an epic battle at sea, Aster and her family are thrust into a new life on land. When a handsome nightweaver named Will offers the family protection and work at his opulent estate, Aster is suspicious. As the arrogant and entitled Right Hand to the Wicked Prince, Will is everything that she's been taught to hate. But as she shows empathy and kindness, Aster can't ignore a blooming attraction, and even more, Will opens her eyes to a new reality. There are monsters worse than nightweavers, monsters who may be behind her brother's death. Filled with elemental magic, forbidden romance, and breathtaking twists, this is a propulsive romantasy with an iron-willed heroine avenging her brother and discovering her destiny. Perfect for fans of Powerless and Heartless Hunter, which are two books and series that I do really love. I saw that Rachel Catherine just recently read this, and she mentioned that part 1 was a little clunky to get through, but she said after that the book really takes off and soars. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind, that as I pick this up, if it's a little bit tough to get through at the beginning, I do think it'll be worth it in the end. But I haven't read many pirate fantasies, and I definitely haven't read anything by this author, so I'm excited to give something new a shot. And I think this is the last book that I had on my list to pick up, and that was We Hunt the Flame by hafsah Faizal. Again, I just absolutely loved this cover, and I had someone hop in the comments and say that they really loved this series as well whenever I originally talked about her other series, A Tempest of Tea. The back says, Zafira is the hunter, disguising herself as a man when she braves the cursed forests of the Ars to feed her people. Nasir is the Prince of Death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his father, the Sultan. If Zafira is exposed as a girl, all of her achievements will be rejected. If Nazir displays his compassion, his father will punish him. War is brewing, and the Ars sweeps closer with each passing day, engulfing the land in shadow. While Zafira embarks on a quest to uncover a lost artifact that can restore magic to her suffering world and stop the Ars, Nasir is sent by the Sultan on a similar mission: retrieve the artifact and kill the hunter. But an ancient evil stirs as their journey unfolds, and the prize they seek may pose a greater threat than either can imagine. Set in a richly detailed world inspired by ancient Arabia, We Hunt the Flame is a gripping debut of discovery, conquering fear, and taking identity into your own hands. I'm really looking forward to this one, and I think that it's only a duology, which I love as well. Looks like it's about 450 pages, but because I think this is YA, usually those read a little bit quicker. I really love this author's writing and the other book that I read from them, so I have a lot of high hopes for this one as well. Okay, next was a very spontaneous and impulsive decision, because I have been a little hit and miss with this author. This is Left of Forever by Tarah DeWitt. Now this is book 2 in an interconnected standalone series following Savor It. I'll be honest, I didn't really love Savor It too much. I gave that like a week, 3 stars. I just really wasn't able to connect to our characters, but I have noticed that this book seems to be much more well received. And I did recently read another book by Tarah DeWitt called The Co-op, which I liked a little bit more. So I did want to give this one a go because it is a second chance romance, which is one of my favorite tropes. Our main couple in this was actually previously married and had a child, but for one reason or another, things didn't work out and they got a divorce. And now as the two move their son into college, they decide to take an extended road trip back to Spoons, Oregon to see if they can give their relationship one last chance. Amid the gorgeous California coastline and the intimacy they have missed for years, but can the past truly be left behind? When worlds fail and old wounds resurface, it's a soul-bearing letter that could finally reveal the truth or close the door on them forever. I've heard that this is just so heartwarming, which I feel like second chance romances tend to be. For me to really connect to a romance, I want it to be quite emotional, which I feel like a couple with this much history will naturally come with. So I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. And because this was a buy one get one 50% off, I obviously had to get another book to lock in that discount. And this is Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. Now, I do know that there is actually a book 1 to this interconnected standalone series. I think it's called Rewitched, but I actually haven't read Rewitched. But there is an author's note at the beginning that says the events of Uncharmed take place prior to Belle's adventure in Rewitched, but both are standalone stories set in the same world. This is giving me very similar vibes to A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. And the back says, a perfect witch must learn to embrace imperfection and live for herself in this spellbinding, cozy fantasy, sprinkled with love, laughter, and magic. Even the chapter titles feel a little magical with stars around it. I'm just so excited to pick this one up. I feel like this is going to be such a good fall cozy read. And finally, to our last book, I decided to get Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erriu. This cover is just simply stunning. I think this was originally indie published and it has since been and traditionally published. But this one has honestly always caught my eye because I personally love astrology, and just the whole concept of this book really scratches an itch in my brain. But the blurb says that this is the first book in a dazzling new romantasy series that blends Greek mythology and shadow magic with a tantalizing enemies to lovers romance that will rewrite the stars. In a world ruled by the cruel and merciless stars, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy promises she will fall for a star, but that it will kill them both. So when Ariet, star of wrath and war, descends to wreak havoc on Alara's kingdom of night, she flees her home, only to be captured by the neighboring Helios, kingdom of light, and falls straight into the arms of an enemy prince. Prince Lorenzo is forced to train Ilaria as a weapon, one worthy of battling against the tyrannical reign of the stars. But there are shadows even within the kingdom of light, and they threaten to reveal the darkness in Lorenzo's past and the ancient magic that slumbers in Ilaria's veins. And with it comes an undeniable star-crossed pull between Ilaria and Lorenzo that neither can seem to resist. So again, I'm getting some Romeo and Juliet vibes with this star-crossed lover idea, but make it Greek mythology, astrology vibes. Honestly, sign me up. I think this is gonna be amazing. And so that is the end of my haul. I can't even show all the books in frame, but literally this is longer than my torso and one is about to fall. This haul is utterly ridiculous. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I think we have so much good reading ahead. If one of these books has really caught your eye or you've read one of these and loved it, please leave me a comment down below so I know where to begin with all of this. But for now, this is where I will love you and leave you. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye guys.